Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new playthrough. This time we're going to be playing a game I've wanted to get to the table for a while, but just some things got in the way and some other stuff came and it was really cool, so I was like, put it aside, like Massive Darkness 2 and some other stuff. But I really wanted to play role-player adventures. Now, a lot of playthroughs have been done with this. That's why I haven't done it yet. And I just thought I'd, do it with my own spin, and you can enjoy it and play along. This will be massively spoiler-filled because I'm going to play through maybe the first two campaigns of two books, maybe more. I don't know. We'll see what else happens in the world as the next few weeks progress. I had originally intended to play the Massive Darkness Heaven something scenario, the big scenario that you can play. But Adam at Rolling Solo is playing that right now, so I decided to wait on that just a little bit. No sense in two of those types of playthroughs running at the same time on YouTube. But I probably will get back to either that or a different campaign, depending on what I do, because I did kickstart most of the stuff for Massive Darkness, but I also kickstarted this with the expansions for Role Player Adventure. And I love the original Role Player game. I was thinking of playing that first and building the characters that way, and I decided against it. Now we're going to be playing with the expansion, so it's going to be, Nefra's Judgment. Now with that, we added a whole new board on that you can see here. It's called a backstory board, where it has something to do with your alignment and all that good stuff. Which is going to start in the middle, and eventually as we go through the scenario, it's going to give us new cards. But one thing I didn't do was build out my characters. I thought, even though I got almost everything all set up, I thought that I would take the time to build out those characters with you, so you can see how that plays out. Now, in Role Player Adventure, there's a series of approximately, I think it's 10 large campaigns. They are done in a storybook mode like so. This is going to be the first one we're going to do. It is the basic one, because I have not played this myself, even though I've watched a bit of it, especially spoiler-free ones, so the story doesn't, will have some surprises to it. But we're going to start with the battle at Black Lake, and that is going to be the very first scenario of the game. It's heavily story and narrative driven. There's lots of discovery cards that you can uncover throughout the game that might change the map or give you new items. Much like a large, in-depth board game, role-playing game, that's what this is, with the elements of role-player on it, with dice manipulation and cards that allow you to do that. Now, one thing I thought was interesting about this game is that the cards themselves, for your skills net, they're pretty, I don't know what's the word, abstract, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like, it'll have a skill, and it'll say, necromancy, or just throwing it out there. But the actual ability is just manipulating dice. So, I guess there's some sense to it. It's pretty clever, but I just look at it as rather abstract. However, your characters are not, and they have sets of stats and can do certain things, and we're going to figure that out right now. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build our first character. But before we do, I did want to point out that there is a campaign tracker that we have already built out. It's right here. These are faction dice. There's 3 factions in the game that you can gain, or not dice rather, but cubes, that you can gain favor in. This is our rest token when it is on this side, and we get the opportunity in the campaign to rest. We can rest, take some things for resting, and then flip it over. And then successfully passing a skill check or combat, I believe, flips it back over to that side, so you can use it again. This is a bonus play token. It's a wooden token that has a little card on it. That allows us to play an extra card because we have 2 characters. Our play limit is only 2 cards for a skill check, and our combat dice is limit of 3. Now, how do I know that? Well, it says in the book, right? So if we pull out the book and you look at the setup, it says right here that we're also going to be taking some starting gold. It's going to be 5 gold. We haven't done that yet, but I'm just getting started on this, and this is what I'm talking about. So prepare our party journal. That's our party journal up there, the campaign tracker, and you can see that we have I'm going to play 2 characters, which means we have a play limit of 2, a bonus play limit, and combat dice of 3, and you can see that those are filled in, and the reason they're filled in pencil is because they might change. Now I also need to grab 5 gold. I'll put that in here later, but I just wanted to show you this board, and we're going to end up collecting titles, keywords that'll influence the game, gold, experience, and then when we stop playing, like for example, if I played the first full book and then stopped for a while, I could put in saved numbers there of what we did, and then we come back, we just erase those saved numbers and put the actual cubes tokens back into the pool. All right, well, let's get to the character generation right now. I think that's the best thing that we can do. And there is a massive stack of characters. Now, on the top of the stack, there's a bunch of cards that just have portraits on them that you can create for your character. These are if you decided to pull or use a character that you created in the role player game. But we're not going to do that. We're going to play one of these many characters, and each of them has their own set of stats and skills and abilities, and I already picked them. So we're going to be playing with what's his name, Aston Fletcher. He's a ranger. I was playing with some characters I hadn't seen before, so that one's going to go there. And then I thought I'd mix it up and play something even more crazy. And this is going to be Lorelei Morvenna. She is an elf wizard. So we got a ranger and an elf wizard that are going to be carrying us now. This is going to be our characters for the entire adventure. It's kind of crazy, I know, because there's so many to choose from. I had a hard time choosing. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to pick something more exotic. I believe, like, if you look at Adam Smith's playthrough and playing solo, he did that. And then there's some other folks that used, like this character. I think at Rob's Gaming Table they used that one. And I think it was these two, I'm not sure. But I think you get the idea. There's lots of characters with different skills and abilities, thief-like abilities, magic abilities, etc. But we're going to pick these two. Now, how does this work? So we picked our character cards. So the first thing we're going to do right now is we're going to flip over the portrait, and it's going to tell us a whole bunch of things. So first off, you see these stats. One of the reasons I liked Aston is his stats. So now there is a piece of paper in here. It's cardstock paper-ish that we slide in that makes up our character. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the character's name in here. His name is Aston Fletcher. Now my handwriting is terrible these days. I don't write anymore. And it's just Doug for the player. And then we're going to say his race is human. And his class is hunter. That means he's a green class. You never want to have the same class. Now, all characters start with a health of 16. We'll talk about what that means later. Now, Aston has a strength of 1. He's got a dex of 2. He's got a con of 2 and a 1, 1, 1. So, kind of balanced. It looks like the dice always add up to 8. Hey, you know, that's the interesting part about it, right? So, I'll get the cubes for that in a minute, but we also have to look up his class. His class is Wanderer. So we're going to walk through here. I'm going to look through this big set. I'll do it faster on the next one. I'm just showing you in real time what we're doing. And everybody has their own. Look, there's tons of classes. Well, we know we have a wizard, so I'll take that one out right here, right now. And there's, is it Hunter? Yeah, Hunter. There we go. And that is going to be our class. So under that, we have a card. See, it says green. And this is class. This is our class. Now, our class ability, seasoned. You won't maybe not know what this means yet, but you will later on. It says choose a die in the die pool, then discard any number of skill cards. For each card discarded, increase that die by 1. That's pretty good ability. Those skill cards discarded doesn't seem that much of a penalty. Okay, now also we have the Wanderer. Now I'm going to read this little storyline here because this is a heavily story-driven game. So it says, Wanderer, you have no place to call home. You live your life on the move, going wherever the road takes you. You have a carefree spirit and are always up for a new adventure. That's the Wanderer. Now this is going to be important too because we also are going to, that is our backstory. It's Wanderer. So we're going to look at something else. Now we'll do that in just a second because we have a whole bunch of other stuff we have to get. You see here is all the gear. Weapons, armor, skills, traits, and scrolls. Scrolls are like spells. So we're going to start with the weapons. And again, I'll do this faster. I'm just showing you now so that you get an idea of what we're doing. Here are the weapon cards. So we need to look for a longbow in here. And there's the longbow, not too far in. Now, like I said, one of the interesting, these cards allow you to manipulate dice. Like, so the longbow doesn't do a certain amount of damage or anything, but you can see it says increase a blue or green die by 1 or 2. That's pretty cool. It says strike 2, spend 2 stamina from intelligence to return this to your hand. So, and if we've discarded it, we can return it to our hand immediately. But this is the first card in our hand. It's our weapon. Then we're going to go on to our next card, which is going to be leather pauldrons in the armor. The armor is here. We're going to look for leather pauldrons. Leather greaves, not leather pauldrons. Leather gloves, leather pauldrons. There we go. And that is going to give us, this is going to be making up our hand of cards. You can see the leather pauldron means we can re-roll a black or red die. We can play any number of additional leather armor cards. These do not count against the play limit. So we want to collect for Aston, we want to be able to collect future leather armor cards for sure. Okay, so we're going to pick up some skills now. Open locks and subvert. So for a ranger, he seems rather thiefly. And the skills are here. And let's see, we're going to pick open. You can see there's a ton of them, right? So we're going to pick open lock. And then we're going to find subvert. See, I think that would have been one for a ranger, but hey, you never know. Okay, subvert. There's subvert, which allows us to flip a green or, well, we'll see how that works. I'll show you how all the cards work as we play. I'm not going to go through all of them right now. That is our skill. Then we're going to go on to our trait. Our trait is honorable. Here are the traits, and we're going to be looking for honorable. I don't know that these are in particular order. I didn't check. Oh, it does look, no, they're not in order. Okay, so we're just looking for honorable. There we go. There's honorable, and it allows you to take a green die and make it like any color you want, I believe. We'll look at all the icons. Like I said, I haven't played the game actually yet myself, so we're playing this together blindly. And then last but not least, I have a scroll. It's called Banish. These are basically like spells, but again, it's very what's the word I was looking for again? Very, well, I said it before. I'm forgetting what I said about it. You know, it's very, I don't know. Never mind. You know what I'm talking about. So we're looking for Banish. I didn't see Banish yet. Banish, restore, exile, enchant. There it is. Banish. That means we get to add 2 purple to a roll. That card. Now remember, we have a play limit. Like I said, we have a play limit of 2. That's our card play limit in any scenario, whether it's a skill check or combat. And that is going to make up our starting hand for Aston. Now and we're going to take that hand, we're going to put it right here under our hand. Go figure. And that means that is the hand that we have available to us right now. And we don't have to like shuffle or do anything like that. That's not the way it works. All right, let's go over and take a look at our, well, no, we got one more thing to do first. And I'm going to get out this big giant book here. This is the book that came with the expansion. Whew, man, I tell you, look at this beast of a book, okay? All right, now what we're going to look up here, we're going to write down that he is a wanderer. So for our backstory, we're going to write down under this, on this card, wanderer. Done like a 4-year-old. And this is also a sideboard with a sheet that goes in it that also has our alignment in there. Speaking of our alignment, I'm going to pull out the die that we need for that. It is green, and it's going to go right there. But we have some things to fill out here. There's a backstory on this, and I think we're going to have to look and see where Wanderer is. It's page 309. Think about that. 309 pages in here. We're going to the very last one with Wanderer, because it was in alphabetical order, right? And here's the Wanderer. Now I need something to block something. Here, I'll use this card. Okay, let's take a look at Wanderer. I read the backstory. You have no place to call home. You live your life on the move, going wherever we read that. Before you've traveled to the Dragul warfront. Okay. Drenched from the rain, you seek shelter in a barn. When the owner discovers you there, he offers you a warm bed and a hot meal in exchange for half a day's labor. Cheerfully, you take him up on his offer and spend the next morning in the field. By nightfall, you are already in the next town, singing for your supper at a local tavern. That's interesting, because he's a ranger, but he's also a wanderer, or a hunter rather, but also a wanderer. It's kind of interesting. You gradually make the 100-mile journey to Sabek, the capital city. From there, you descend into Undercity, a cavernous network of old sewers and catacombs. There, you discover a strange underground temple devoted to Nephris, the goddess of judgment. Statues of the snake-faced deity are everywhere. As you translate some of the ancient texts inscribed in the walls, you discover a message that could have only been written for you. No matter how far we travel, we carry the weight of our choices. All paths converge on one destination. Reveal rare card 99 and add it to the Wanderer player's hand. Wow, we're getting a card already. So that rare card, I got to go get that out of another deck. There is an expansion rare card deck. And I'm going to get that here. You'll see that in just a second. There is the deck right there. So look, we're already playing, y'all. It's awesome. Okay, so we're going to reveal card 96. And that is going to be right here. 96 rare. This is from the expansion, and it is, oh, that makes some sense. Wanderlust. This is going to be a new card that we get to add to our hand. This storybook means that it's from our, when we do it, we can only use it once per adventure. So if we use this during this adventure, it's the only time we're going to use it, and we may not get to replenish it. It says, Wanderlust, move any number of scroll cards from your hand to your spent space for each card moved. Add a random die to the dice pool. It's pretty good. So that is that, and it says, Wander player, record these adventure numbers in the location letter on your back storyboard. So let's take a look at that. So we know we're a wanderer. We know that this is actually right here in the middle, but we also have these numbers right here. So it says 2, so adventure 2, so 2C, and we got 5F when this, you know what the problem with me writing on this is, it doesn't revealed. I'll get it. There's something weird I have to look at. 6 E revealed, and then 8D. Gosh, my handwriting in this is terrible because I'm leaning over to write on it, and I have bad handwriting anyway. Anyway, you get the idea. So that is it. Now that means we recorded everything we needed for our Wanderer in our class, and that is going to finish up our character generation for Austin, or Aston rather. There's one more thing we have to do. We have to set up our traits here with cards, or cubes rather. These are our stamina that we will spend when we're trying to generate dice of certain types. You can see that he's rather well rounded. He's got a die in just about or a pip in just about everything, which is good. Well, he does have a pip and everything. So there's our stats. Now, what happens is if I want to get a green die, for example, since I have 2 players, I have to spend, collectively, we have to spend 2 of these. So I could spend 1 from here and then 1 from the other character. I could spend both from here. You can also spend 3 of any kind to get a die that you want. All right, anyway, we're going to add that Wanderlust to our hand, and we're ready to go. We're just going to we're done with this. We don't need this part anymore. We're just going to flip it over and see our beautiful portrait of Aston Fletcher. Now let's go on to our wizard. Okay, for the first part of it, I got Lorelei ready to go. We're going to add her cubes to this. So 1 in strength, 1 in dex, nothing in constitution, but we get a big 3 here. We get a 1 in wisdom and a 2 in charisma. And that is her setup there. Now that's going to be for her skills, but remember, we got to get all these cards. I'm going to gather them all up and just walk you through them real quick. Okay, here is Lorelei's starting hand. We got her the scroll of energy field. Now this is if we were to be trying to acquire them later. But we got the scroll of energy field. We've got, it allows us to add 2 blue dice to our roll. It's basically intelligence dice or magic. We got ambition. So she's an ambitious elf. Says dark elf actually, -2, but she's just an elf. So that may be a cost thing, but she's quite ambitious, so we have to remember that. We have examine, which allows us to do some dice manipulation. We have haggle, again, dice manipulation skills. She also is wearing a set of mystic robes and a mystic cloak, so she's decked out in some mystic gear, and she's got an ancient tome, which allows her to adjust dice on a purple die. So anyway, that is her starting hand. Now we're going to get to her backstory. She is a chronologist. So here is the story for the chronologist. It says, an experiment gone terribly wrong has sent you back countless centuries. So she's from the future. The world you knew is no more, and you now must adapt to this new life. You weren't always a king's guard. Zoraine, your assistant, is skeptical. If the chronometer works, wouldn't your future self have already shown up this morning? She asks. Either that or everything that happens today is going to be erased, like wiping off a chalkboard. The idea of being erased clearly does not sit well with her. Flipping the switch on the side of the chronometer, you feel a surge of electricity course through your body. Strangely, the image of a serpent-faced woman flashes before your eyes. The glass on your timepiece cracks. Instead of standing in your lab, you find yourself in the middle of a swamp. You walk many miles before discovering civilization, and when you finally do, not much has changed. Ulos has not yet been unified by the Klinox invasion. There is still no peace between Nalos and Dragul, a conflict that was resolved centuries ago in your timeline. Worst of all, your chronometer is broken. There's no way for you to return back home. Chronologist players, increase your wisdom attribute score by 1 and add 1 stamina to your wisdom attribute from the supply. We'll definitely do that, and then record these things on our board. So we're going to do that right now. And so we're going to do Adventure 4. We don't get anything till Adventure 4, huh? We're going to go G, and just make sure I know that's a G. I'm going to write it again. This pencil, I don't know. G, and then we got 5G, 5G, and then we got 9C and 10E, and then of course our alignment is in the middle right there. And that is going to be the end. We're going to take care of that wisdom adjustment right now. Okay, so already now you learn why you need to write in pencil, so you can erase things that you did. We're going to move that up to a 2, and that gives us a pretty big advantage. And then we're going to just flip our card back over to our cool chronologist, Lorelei Morvena. Nice. Okay. Now, her special ability as a wizard is to return 1 stamina from your intelligence attribute row to the supply. Reroll any number of dice in your dice pool. That's pretty powerful, and we got a lot of intelligence. So we need to keep around some intelligence stamina cubes so we can make sure that happens. All right. Now that we've made our characters, we're ready to go on our adventure. What do you think? I know it took a little bit of time. I don't know if I'll continue. I'll do the whole adventure today. We'll get started on it. This is going to be a multi-part series. And again, I'm going to be learning with you. And we got all our cards ready to go. And let's see. So this is the skill book. We'll deal with that. This book up here. That's the skill book. I do need to get 5 coins into our supply. So there's the coin tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is going to be in our gold supply under our stuff as our starting gold, and then we're going to get started with our adventure. Now, I'm going to treat this like you've never played this before and have not watched another playthrough. So we're going to set up our adventure now. Now, I've done part of it already, but we're going to finish it off so you can see everything that needs to be done. So it says here, we're going to start, welcome to Role Player Adventure. Role Player Adventure is a narrative. We're not going to read that. This storybook will walk you through your first game. Please read the rule book before you begin. Done that. Begin playing. Call-out boxes like the ones below will refer to relevant sections of the book. So it says symbols like this exclamation point are require an action. So this one says our symbol is prepare for our first adventure. Follow the campaign setup on page 5. That's right next door. Each story will begin with its own unique setup text explaining how to prepare the map for the adventure. So we're going to look over here now. It says place the Battle of Black Lake adventure map, boom, in the center of the table next to the party journal. Party journal's over here. Place experience points. These are these blue cubes right here. I'll grab a few of those. On each lettered location, there's a B, C, and D. I don't see, or A, B, C, D. So there's one there, one there, one there, and I need one more for D. There's that. Place bonus play tokens on the party journal equal to the recorded value. Okay, that was 1. We already did that. Place bonus to play tokens on the party journal. Yeah, I got that. Character sheet, place each character's hand of cards in their hand space. Got that. Place each character's class card face up. Got that. Their ability space, each fill out the attributes. Did that. Now, find the encounter tokens. They are over here. I think we need 1 and 2. We'll get those out. Let's see what we get. I'm going to try and find them. We've got lots of stuff here. Lots and lots of tokens and things. And yeah, here we go. These are the tokens. We need 1 and 2. I think they're in order, maybe. Nope, they're not. So I'm going to have to look for number 2. I will do that off camera, and then we'll have those. Okay, here are tokens 1 and 2. It says find these and put these on the encounter spaces. We're going to have to mix them up. Here we go. Okay. And I hope I mixed them up enough. I don't think I remember which one's which. We'll place these on the board, and we are ready to go. Okay, now we're going to begin our adventure. As a King's Guard soldier in the regiment of Commander Zalek, a dark elf, you have fought a long war. The Dragul, shows you how to pronounce it, that's nice, a coalition of northern tribes invaded Nalos, your homeland. After many battles, you have driven off their hordes, but rumors spread through the camp of a new Dragul plot. One night you are summoned to Commander Zalek's tent, where you find him arguing over a map with General Grick, an orc. A gold coin marks the southern city of Sebek. A vial of elixir marks a swamp to the west. General Grick raises an eyebrow when you enter. "So you're Zalek's best?" he asks, looking over you skeptically. "We have a special mission for you, but first a question of strategy. Zalek wants to take your regiment south to investigate a threat to the capital," says Grick, pointing to the coin, then pointing to the vial. "I think we should push west and capture a powerful Dragul agent in the swamp. What say you? Side with General Grick, learn more about the Dragul plot. Side with Commander Zalek, investigate the threats to the capital." Okay, so here's why I'm going to choose what I'm going to choose. I watched a bit of a playthrough, and they chose beginning number 1. So I'm going to do something different and see how this plays out. I'm going to pick side with Commander Zalek and investigate the threat to the capital city. That means we're going to go to entry begin 2, which is probably on the next page. It is. Okay. So let's go to here, begin 2. And we're going to read. Now, don't read ahead of me or anything. If you want me to cover stuff up, I can, but we'll just do that. That'll make it a little easier and a little less tempting, right? Okay, it says, you point to the coin, and General Grick pats you on the back with pity. "Well," he says, "good luck to you." He collects his vial of elixir and exits the tent. Recording keywords. The action indicator below instructs you to record a keyword. To do this, write keyword Zalek in the keyword space on your party journal. I'm going to do that now. You don't need to watch me do it, so I'm just know that I wrote Zalek in our keyword box. Now, keywords stay around for the adventure, and then they're gone after the adventure's over when you go to a new adventure, but titles on your sheet stay forever. So we recorded that. "Grick wouldn't hear my counsel," says Commander Zalek, "and he won't hear yours either, but I'm glad to know I have your trust. As for your mission," there's a glare, sorry, "leave now and travel due east until you reach a small enemy encampment. A special operative of King Terran will meet you there." Commander Zalek rolls up the map. "You can keep the coin," he says. "Gain 1 gold." Well, we gain another gold. I don't know. It seems like to me the other decision gave you something better, but hey, we'll see. You make haste under the crescent moon, crossing burnt and abandoned farmlands into open prairies. At the top of a bluff, you look over a dark lake to a wooden outpost. Place your party marker on location A and then read entry A. Okay, this is location A here, and here's our party marker. I have not painted it, but it's just something that's supposed to represent. I see that to me look like Aston Fletcher right there, so that's why I picked it. But anyway, one of the reasons I picked it. But there we're going to be right there at that location. Then we're going to go read entry A, and here we are. Go figure, right? Entry A, the Borderland Prairie. This is a box to help guide us in our way because this is our first adventure. It says action indicators. Action indicators are always read and resolved in order from top to bottom. Sometimes an action indicator will direct you to another entry. When this happens, immediately turn to that entry without reading or resolving any more actions. If there is no experience on this location, there is. The experience is a blue cube that I put out early, so there is one there. We would go to A1, but we're not. It says otherwise, collect the experience. So we're going to collect this and put it in our experience pool. We'll review that later. And continue reading. As you look over the lake, a voice calls from a thicket behind you. "Care to join me?" You turn to discover a friendly halfling roasting apples and hares by a fire. "You look like you could use a meal." You disregard the halfling and he chuckles, then stands to salute you. "Tarek Naulin, special operative of King Terran, confidant of the immortal night, and bearer of bad news and terrible secrets. Now come, eat and rest, for we have hard work ahead of us." As you eat, Tarek speaks in a hushed voice. "The lake below is dark, for the Dragul filled it with the blood and ashes of their dead. Our mission is to secure the outpost. The northern shore is guarded by an encampment of goblins, weak but many. Knolls stand watch to the south. We need to eliminate both camps, so take your pick. You go one way and I'll go the other. Burn down their camp to signal your progress. I'll do the same." Tarek pulls something from his pack and tosses it to you. "We'll need this at the gate." We're going to continue reading. Discovery cards. When instructed to reveal a specific discovery card, do not shuffle or examine the card. So we're going to get discovery card 65. And I think you get the idea. We don't look at these until we pull them out, and we're looking at them in order. So we're looking for 65, which is right here. We're going to put the rest back. Remember, they are in numeric order, so they're just In their tray, by the way, the tray setup is very convenient for play, as you can tell. What do we have? We have the Bluestone Fireball. Okay. Okay, now we have some things we can do. We can use an item or move to another location. Do you want to try? We could try and use an item. So how you use an item is you go to the adventure book. So we're adventure 1, and we're going to use item 65, but it costs us stamina. Do I want to try this now? I think we're just going to hold on to it. This is going to go into our item pool. I want to conserve our stamina. We only have 16 each, and if I do this, I would have to put a stamina into the fatigue pool from the supply, which means we're one less. I mean, I could do it. That's each of us have to spend the stamina. We could use the item, except I don't think we're intended to use it now. So we could then move to another location. That means we're going to pick which direction we're going to do. I think we're just going to store this for now. Maybe I'm being a little conservative, but we got a long game ahead of us, right? So let's not take too many risks, and then we're going to go back to our map. So Aston and Lorelei have to make a decision. Which way do they go? Do they go north to the Goblin Camp or south to the Knoll Camp? Tell you what, let's do this. We're going to be random. Here's a die out of the bag. 1, 2, 3, Goblin Camp. 4, 5, 6, Knoll Camp. A 5. So we're going to head southwards to the Knoll Camp. That means first we're going to stop by this location, which is going to be number 2 in the book. Let's go take a look at that. Again, the reason that I did that is I used the move. These are the 2 actions that we had. I moved use to another location. Now we're going to get to an encounter. In a multiplayer game, the players to the right is a storyteller, reads from the token. It's just me. So if you move along a path that contains an encounter token, flip the token, face up, and place your party marker beside it. Open the Tome of Encounters and turn to the entry for this adventure with the same number as the encounter token. Then the encounter token to the box. Then return to the box. For example, in this adventure, to resolve encounter token 2, you turn to adventure 1, 2 in the Book of Encounters, and we're going to do that right now. This big beast of a thing is the Book of Encounters, right? There's a lot of stuff in here, and there's going to be spoilers, so we're going to try and not get to it too quickly. Here's Adventure 1. We're looking for Adventure 1, 2, which is right here. I'll block this side. Maybe try not to look ahead. Let's just all surprise each other. Okay, it says, now that you've found the entry that matches your encounter token, remove the token. So this token is now gone from the board. We'll just put it aside for now. And it says, remove the token from the adventure map and return to the box. By the faint light of the crescent moon, you make your way through a grove of ancient trees. You discover a thin line of twine running across your path and up a tree, where rusty pots and pans hang from branches. The forest around you is laced with these tripwires. Any false move will alert the Dragool of your presence. The choice indicators below offer a choice between 2 skill checks. Each shows which attribute will be used to resolve the skill check. Once you've made your choice, turn to the corresponding entry in the Tome of Encounters. Okay. Well, we're going to either disarm a trap, which is going to be a Dex Intelligence. Is that good for us? Well, I got 2 intelligence, 3 Dex, 3 Dex from the elf, only 1 intelligence. Oh, sorry, 3 intelligence from our elf, 2 Dex from our hunter, 1 intelligence from the hunter, 1 Dex. We got a pretty decent amount. Or carefully sneak through. Dex and wisdom. Is that better? That is not better. So I think we're going to disarm the trap. So we're going to go to adventure 1 of 5 in the Tome of Encounters right here, and we're going to be doing we're going to attempt to disarm the traps. Okay, you attempt to carefully sever and secure various tripwires here in the forest, so that no pots or pans fall from the trees. We're going to do our first skill check. We're going to look for the skill of Thiefcraft. It says Thiefcraft 1. Well, that's the very end of the book. So we're going to open that up and lay that out for us. We're going to build a dice pool. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. This is where the meat of the potatoes of the game come in, right? Okay, so the box below indicates a skill check. To complete a skill check, all players will work together to cover every dice slot a skill check row with a die that matches the indicated color and number. You'll first build your dice pool, then play cards to manipulate your rolled dice. See Skill Checks, Section 12 of the rulebook. Now, I already read the rulebook, so I know how to do this. We're just going to get right into it. So first things first, Thiefcraft, what do we need? This is kind of tough, actually. We need 6 black, a 6 blue, I think, and or is that a white? I'm not sure. No, I think that's a white. So I think that's a blue. I think I'm going to look in the book just to make sure I got the dice portions right. That would make sense because it's an intelligence and dexterity check. Dex is in fact black and intelligence is in fact blue. So that is where we're at. And yeah, okay, let's assume we're going to do that. Okay, so we need a 6 black, a 6 blue, and a 6 black or blue, and we get to draw some dice. Now we're going to use some stamina here, so let's just mark this here. We'll move the book out of the way, the big tome of encounters. And we're going to do our first skill test with this. Let me back up just a little bit. All right, so we're going to draw some stamina to make some cards. So we know we need intelligence roll. So I think the one, okay, we're going to use 1 cube. It requires 1 cube per player, 1 fatigue cube. So we're going to put this stamina cube into our fatigue lot from Aston and 1 from here. That will allow us to pull a blue die rather from the bag from our intelligence. So let's find a blue die. So there's that. Now the important part is our dice limit is 4, and that means we're going to pull 4 dice. Now how many of those we choose to manipulate is up to us. I think though that we are then going to spend 1 cube from Aston as well and 1 cube from her for dexterity to pull a black die out. Now, I got 1 of each. Do I just risk it for a biscuit and go for the other 2 without spending too much stamina? I don't know. Let's do it. We're just going to run. I'm going to rummage around. See what we get. A white one. That's perfect. No, it's not. We need blue, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we get. And another white one. I don't know. We'll see if we can manipulate these around. Hopefully we can. So what we're going to do now is we're going to roll our dice and see what we get. Now, hopefully we get some things we can work with here. That doesn't look that great for us. So how do now I need to try and figure out how to get 3 6s out of these 4 dice. Blue and black or yeah. So here's where the card play comes in. Now we've rolled our dice. Now we have a play limit of 2 cards. So normally you can, like if you're a single player, you can play 4, but we can play 2 cards each player, I believe. I'm going to double check the rules on that, the play limit, just to be sure. Yes, we each get to play 2 cards. Now let's see, I need to get to a 6, right? So I can take I don't have a 6, so that doesn't help. I'm going to look through, I'm not going to do this way every single time. And some of these I'm going to have to look up and see what they do. I think that says I can take any one and turn it to a 3 or 5. That does not help me though. So that's not very, very good. So if I can, let's see, card icons. That means, let's see here. I'm going to look at on the, there's a big glossary in the back that shows you the card icons. And what I'm looking for is like this one for examine. It says, no, I don't see that one on here. Oddly enough, I don't see this. So I'm going to look it up. I see similar things, but not this specific thing. But this says, the arrow means treat as a die of another color. So I think we can take 1, I don't know. I'm going to have to figure this one out. Already stumped by the rules. Uh-oh. So actually, if I put the things together, it's pretty easy. This says, take a 1, a die of a specific value, and turn it into a 3 or 5, any color. Okay, that's what that means. All right. This allows me to pull 2 blue dice to the pool. I may spend that one, but this means it's spent, which means I don't just automatically get it back. I have to rest to get it back. Ambitious, I can turn a black 6 into anything I want, but any color I want, but I don't have a black 6, and I need one. This I can take a black, any 2 and turn it into a 4 or 6, but I don't have a 2. Mystic Robes, I can re-roll a blue or green die. That might be useful. This one I can re-roll a blue or green die. Ancient Tome, I can increase or decrease a purple die. So I think, though, that we're going to have to do this one. I know it's spent, but we didn't get very good. I'm going to prepare to spend that. I'm not sure if I'm going to yet. Let's see what our other character can do. We have lots of other cards with our other character. Let's see. I can get 2 purple dice, not helpful. Honorables, green die, nope, green. Remember, we're green. So 3, I got a 3 to 1 or 6. I don't have a 3. I can re-roll a black or purple die. That might help. Play any number of additional leather armor cards. Can't do that. Green, increase a blue or green die. Oh, that might help. by 1 or 2. Okay, that we're going to play that one. I can increase the blue die to the 4 to a 6. So we can get one of the blue 6s in there. Then we got the black. Then we got to figure out how to get the other one to a black die. That I'm not sure how I can do. I don't seem to have the ability to turn something into a black die. So we're going to take out this one, our longbow. We're going to use that. That just gets discarded. That means at the end of this encounter, I'll get it back. So somehow we're using our longbow to help disarm the traps. Maybe we're shooting the tripwires out before they can trigger or something. And it also says strike 2, spend 2 stamina from your intelligence to return this to your hand. I'm not worried about doing that right now, but I am going to take this one and turn it into a 6. By adding 2 to it, that solves that one. So we have this solved. Now I got to get that 4 up somehow. I mean, she can add 2 blue die. I don't know if that helps us. Well, it could help us, but I'm not sure that it does. I don't know how to get that black 4 up to a 6. So we've got 1. He spent 1 of his 4 cards that he could spend. Let's see, is there anything else? Choose a die. Let's look at our hunter ability. Choose a die from the dice pool, then discard a number of skill cards for each one. Oh, okay. I will discard any number of skill cards. So I'll discard examine, and I'll discard... Oh wait, wrong character. Wrong character. That's can't do that with her. I can do that now. That means we're going to use our skill. That means we'll turn it over. We won't be able to use it until the rest. But let's see, what can we get rid of here? We don't need 2 purples. We'll discard that. Ooh, that's a spent one though. Maybe we won't. We'll discard honorable, and let's see. This is cool, but not helpful. So we'll discard that. So we discarded 2 cards from our hand. Now it's not using them. We're discarding them, just not using them. And we're going to flip this over. Now our hunter ability has been used, but it allows us to up a die 2. So we'll get this one up to a 6. Now all I have to worry about is that blue. We need a blue 6 somehow, and I don't have another blue die. I don't have a way to turn anything into a blue die. Let's see. I do not. I could take a 6 and turn it into blue. I think we're going to have to. So I've only spent 1 card so far. So we're going to spend, and this is going to get this into the spent pile. We're going to play our energy field right here. It's going to allow us to draw 2 dice and spend it. And I'll show you how the player board ends up in a minute, but let's get the 2 blue dice out. 1 and 2. We're going to roll them. Hopefully we get a 6, because then we're solved. Come on, we did not. We got a 4 and a 3. Okay, so now I have to try and manipulate one of those blues. I have the ability to re-roll a blue. Two abilities to do that. I got a 3 and a 4. None of this helps at all. Like if this was a 2, I could have got it. So her hand, I'm going to put her hand down for a little bit. Let's look at his again. He's got 1 card left to play. Oh, a 3. There we go. I can play my open locks card, take a 3, move it up to a 6, and then we'll have this whole thing done. Boom. There we go. Oh, that makes sense actually. Think about thematically. I'm picking the locks on the traps, the devices, and I'm using my ability to manipulate that 3 into a 6. And that is going to get discarded again, not spent. So we did pretty good without absolutely destroying our deck. We only have 1 card in the spent pile, and she only used 1 card. So he used 2 exactly. So we're going to take that. We're going to move it up to a 6. We're going to say that one goes here, this one goes here, and this one goes here, and we completed our skill check. That was pretty hard, actually. So we're going to go back to our skill check and see what happens. Okay, so we had Thiefcraft 1. We passed it. Pass. You disarm the trap. Go to Adventures 113. Let's check that out. And here we are. It says, with a bit of know-how and a lot of elbow grease, you disarm the trap and move forward without fear of altering or alerting the Knoll Camp. You hope that the rogue is having as much luck on his side of the lake. Record the keyword clear. I will do that now. And again, I'm not going to show you every time I record a word or something, but we have now clear in our box right there. And it says, Tarek is handling his side of the lake. Remove the other encounter token from the adventure map. That means we're going to remove this token so there are no more tokens on the adventure map. That was token number 1. And return to the box. Continue to adventure 114. Okay, here we are. It says, before heading forward to the camp, you take a moment to catch your breath. The crescent moon reflects eerily off the glassy black surface of the water. Rest. The first choice indicator is below. Gives you an opportunity to rest. You should rest now so that you can learn how it works. See resting section, page 11 of the rule book. Okay, well, let's follow the rules and rest because it says to do that. Okay, well, we're going to rest, right? So this is going to flip over. We're doing it for the sake of the game. I think it's going to give us plenty of opportunities to rest, and it's going to be pretty lenient on it. It says first, spend 1 or more XP to clear our stamina. We're actually going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to spend experience points, and it says each player draws dice the amount that we spent of experience. So we're going to spend 1 experience point. So it's going to mean we're each going to draw 1 die from the bag, and hopefully we're going to roll a 2 because that will allow us to completely recover our stamina. So it says each player then rolls and returns that stamina from the fatigue to the supply. Let's do that. So we get a 2, perfect. These are gone, and then for our elf Lorelei, she gets a 3, so both of hers are back to the supply as well. And then we take that die and we put it back into the bag. Okay, then now that we've taken those out of supply, each player fills up their attribute row to their attribute limit. So we know that we have a 1, 2, so we're missing 1 there. 2, 1, we're missing 1 there. And I'm going to do the same thing for Lorelei. She gets 1 back in her dexterity and 1 back in her intelligence. And again, I would, at this point, if I was playing without the tutorial mission, the first mission, I probably would have waited because we have 16 health. We only had 2 stamina spent. We had probably some other ways to recover it. But we also get to recover our skill, our hunter skill, so that was good. Each player then returns all bonus play tokens from their fatigue box to the bonus. We didn't use a bonus play. Each character then returns all cards spent to their hand. Now, our cards in the discard pile would have come back to us anyway. So for our ranger, or our hunter, all of his cards would have been back. And for her, the only one that was in her spent category was the energy field, so that's back in her hand as well. And then it says flip the rest token down. I already did that, and so we have rested. We're going to end. We did that. Now we're going to end by moving to a new location on our path. I have a feeling this is going to open up later as we go. And we're going to continue on to the Knoll Camp, where I'm going to leave you in a cliffhanger. We're going to pause there. We are now on to the Knoll Camp. We've snuck through, went down through the forest. Down through here, there's this beautiful forested area off the water. We can see the lake. Came down here and we found a forest full of rigged up traps that would make a lot of noise if we tried to bypass them without disarming them. We had a choice of trying to get around them or disarming them. We chose to disarm them. We were successful. That gave us, well, no reward. We just successful. Got by it. Unless it tells you, it doesn't give you any reward. So we were able, but it allowed us to advance on our quest without alerting the camp. So we get to the Knoll Camp. It is not alerted, and we have the keyword clear, which is probably going to help us at some point. And we are about to enter the Knoll Camp. So because I did all the character setup and everything, I'm going to pause there. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.